Hello, I'm Tan the Tan BOTC channel. This is the last of the shorter streams, but I wanted to put this one up as well. Uh, these mostly count as just kind of videos, but we're going through them. I want to play some Baldur's Gate. So, anyways, going into Nintendo stuff, people know about the price raises and stuff. Maximilian was testing some Nintendo, their freaking Ethernet or internet connection with like older games and stuff when he was doing SoCal Sucks. They have hentai on the very front part of their store, yet they still advertise themselves as a family-friendly company through their ads and stuff. Um, the price increases on a lot of things, like that thing Reggie Fils-Aimé was pissed about. Just a lot of freaking stuff. And I want to use like a Renegades React when watching Angry Joe's discussion about this. Just not only sums so many problems up, but also Yang Yi's video. In one part of Yang Yi's, the Doug Bowser, I think, is essentially kind of saying, it's not the exact wording, but he's kind of saying that uh, other companies aren't going to follow suit in their decisions, but people look up to you, Nintendo, like Yang Yi says. Uh, as well as another thing is like with the many years we've seen of bull crap from companies like EA, Activision, and Ubisoft, the history these companies have had, you think they're not going to pull this crap? You've teamed up with Ubisoft. I have a feeling when you were doing the Rabbids games, a little bit of Ubisoft rubbed off on you, assholes. I've been a giant freaking Nintendo fan for the longest time, and this stuff pisses me off enough to just be like, see all this Nintendo stuff that I showed you guys in my room? I just want to take it all down because I'm just like that pissed at Nintendo. They have been making so many dumb decisions. They have been saying so many dumb things recently, and they have made dumb decisions in the past, but nothing to this freaking level. It freaking sucks. Uh, this part right here just sums up how sadly things are probably going to go and how depressing the world is truly going to be with this stuff succeeding. This one like little clip here, I'll play
Oh,
it.
Oh, bro, $449 when the last one was 300.
It's like the most exciting
Nah,
feature about the Switch 2 is the fact that you can use a Joy-Con as a mouse.
yes.
That's awesome because that would be awesome to play Metroid Prime 4 that way.
Oh, dude.
But I
yes.
still ain't gonna pay fucking $90 to play Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah.
I will
what a rude
replay Dread
awakening
before I will pay that much money to play Metroid Prime 4.
Continue.
Fair enough.
But I
today.
agree with all the sentiments
Dude,
made here.
I
If I
I
knew
hope
how
they
to
don't mind me
fix
at a
my
loss
Joy
for
fix
words.
that bad.
What is going to happen now? If Nintendo does this, guys, other companies and if these sell, if it makes record numbers, all the other game companies,
Are
you
gonna do
think
it.
EA is not going to charge base Madden $100, $80 to $90 after Nintendo does this?
Fuck.
We're fucked.
And that right there sums up the success of Nintendo Switch 2. Let's see. There was another portion. Oh yeah, they're like doing the math. Get
Hey,
frickin'
Meta.
advertisements of these guys. It's frickin' hate ads. Frick ads. Another frickin' ad. At least this one's skippable. So here they're doing the math on. So just like you know how much a movie cost to make, as well as how much a movie got in box office returns, not including like worldwide and stuff maybe, or including it. But they do the math on say Super Mario Odyssey timesing how many copies they sold to like a $60 price tag each. They times that, and it came to like over $1 billion. So they go over
Those
that, and that's
figures,
just on the low
okay?
end,
Super Mario Odyssey has
as they
sold.
say.
Oh
They're looking
boy.
this up.
Yeah, Super Mario Odyssey has sold
He does take
29
his time
million.
a lot of this stuff.
So,
I do think
let's
it's
do the math
too
real quick.
long all the
29
time.
million times. Let's do 70. Actually, you know what? Let's be generous and say 60.
Average it for when it price dropped to 60.
Yeah, that is $1.74 billion.
I believe it made its money back.
Made its money back more than 17 times over, and that's on the low end. That's the low end.
Yeah, so this stuff is just freaking ridiculous. They can, of course, make their goddamn money back. There is no reason for this freaking price gouge. People are being like, "Oh, poor Nintendo, poor Nintendo," but in reality, after seeing stuff like this and thinking about the actual math of this stuff, you're more like, "Oh, poor me," even if you are making bank. It's gonna reach that point when only the people who make bank, and they even say this in the video, are going to be able to afford their crap. Let's see another point. They made another point, I think, at the 30-minute-ish mark.
Me earlier today, Austin Evans was at the
This was
release
another
event in
good
New
point.
York City, and
This
he
is the
actually got
last part I'm showing of
hands-on
this video,
with
if
a
they don't
Switch
mind,
2.
hopefully.
Very impressed by it, but he was informed of something when it came to the physical
And I
game
saw this in
cartridges.
another video, by the way, with it was titled something like "True Fans Will Boycott Nintendo." I don't agree with boycotts. I don't really, me personally, I would never get involved in one of those. But like on my personal level, I hate Nintendo is doing without utilizing a boycott or anything. I just don't care. They have strictly made me personally, and it's up to you once again. Though I feel like that earlier clip would sum up how we all would feel eventually. uh, I just do not care. I think it's better I save my money. Besides, how is frickin' Ubisoft the cart game? Because they're talking about how they have this open world with secrets and stuff in it, and it's like it's probably going to be no different from playing any other open world game, really. But he points out, just like that video is talking about, and I would only watch most of that video except the very end where he talks about the boycotting stuff, is frickin' just the fact that a lot of the physical, also they bring up the point that if you compare the Switch 1 to the Switch 2 like copies, the actual cases themselves, they look freaking ugly because there's like chunky giant red part at the top, and then the bottom it's got all this text at the bottom just blocking so much, and then they have to write Switch 2 edition in like a banner or something on like the Zelda one, Tears of the Kingdom one, for example. It's like, oh, I didn't know it was a Switch 2. I bet that big red chunk at the top didn't let me know that. Oh, I didn't know that. But also that the cartridges themselves aren't actually retaining the data, at least some of them or whatever. They're just they only activate to a code, a digital code on your Switch. So you're not actually buying a physical version. So they could technically take that away from you and apply the Ubisoft rules. You don't own your games if they wanted to.
You know what the physical game? The physical game
And they're
cartridges.
trying to prevent
Some of
people
them
from
have
suing
no
you.
data on them, and
Suing
instead,
them, sorry. Suing them as best they can by having you pay money just to go out somewhere to be able to even do this lawsuit, unless you already live there, which, frick them. They're trying to prevent people as hard as they can, too, from freaking suing them, which is just freaking ridiculous. And I'm just thinking all these things like, what if there's defects? You know how like the Xbox had the red ring of death and stuff? Like, what if there's a defect with your console or one of your freaking devices or something? Like, are you able to like think of the costs of like returning and then freaking trying to get a new version of a Switch like years later after the freaking it, like say it dies like literally right after a warranty that you have on it expires, and then you're like, oh, I'm screwed. I have to pay another $450 or whatever, including freaking whatever else comes after. Also, I think I'm done on Souls-like, so even though the new Bloodborne 2 does look kind of cool, Duskbloods, I can do without it. And then Donkey Kong is just Hulk ultimate destruction mixed with Super Mario Odyssey, but with more like, you know, maybe mix in a little Minecraft in there too. They're just not really new things I haven't seen before. The Donkey Kong one and Dusklights were the only ones I really at all cared about, and now I'm just like, I can do without them. I don't give a crap.
Are a download code that goes to the store and downloads the game for you.
Of course.
Once again, DRM, everybody. DRM.
Yeah, just frick Nintendo. And then frickin'
that you didn't find a lot to discover when
I don't know which clips to use here, but I just think this is a good video in general. Yangi has, and it's just ridiculous. But I'm trying to find the part. There's a part in here where frickin' what's his Doug Bowser is saying this stupid ass thing. What is it? Is this it? Oh my gosh, we got another freaking ad. Are you serious? Whatever. I'm done with this because there's ads just trying to booba. Sorry. Anyways, I hope you found something interesting or intriguing. I'm just sick of freaking Nintendo's crap right now. They are pissing me off. I'm sure they're pissing other people off. This is just ridiculous. What the frick, Nintendo? What is your problem? Now I have to freaking play most of the games on Game Pass, and technically I don't freaking own them. So in a way, Microsoft with Game Pass is kind of Ubisoft when you think about it. Uh, but yeah, there, and then you got to do the math on people who probably pay for multiple subscriptions, by the way, as well as just the math of life stuff in general, dealing with bills and taxes, all that kind of crap. And it's like, yeah, once it amounts up, it's like people are eventually not going to be able to pay for your crap, Nintendo. And by the way, they also made a good point in that Renegades React video that they're still technically a console generation behind, even with the Switch 2. And it's more expensive than a PS4 or a Pro? What? Frick you, Nintendo. Frick you. And another good point that I think Maximilian made was that it's weird how a lot of other consoles, as well as even theirs in the past, have had probably multiple exclusives. This time around, the only launch exclusive really is Mario Kart, the new Mario Kart. That's it. And is it worth $80? Frick no. So you're technically not buying a physical copy, it's still digital. Digital doesn't make sense even with a certain thing going on that is making them raise the prices. It doesn't make sense because you don't have to ship freaking digital copies across the world, you dumbasses. I don't know how that freaking makes any sense. Somebody please explain that to me. Like even Yang once again brought that out, and it's just like, what the frick? Nothing about this makes any freaking sense. This is all a freaking lie. It's freaking ridiculous. Even I'm not gonna say that it's a scam, but I can see other people saying in their perspective that maybe it's a scam. But I'm not gonna say that. But the reason I bring it up is because it is very, very close on the brink of that. Very close. But I would not totally admit that it was. Besides, they would get angry at me. I wouldn't ever say that about their stuff. But this stuff is still disgusting either way you look at it. It's absolutely egregious. Like, what the hell? Why are you doing this, Nintendo? Why the frick? They even bring up you're supposed to be the budget console, and now you want people to pay practically $100 if you count like shipping and crap with your freaking games. Like, come on, what the frick? Stop this crap, Nintendo. Reggie, get on their ass. What's wrong with you? Anyways, if you found anything interesting, I hope you enjoyed. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Leave your comments below, and I will see you next time.